Assalamu alaikum dear students, I am your English teacher Qaisar Bashir. In this video, we are going to read and discuss another very important poem that is in your English text, class 9th. But before we go ahead, I would like to tell you, keep a pen and a copy in front of you so that you can be able to write down all the necessary information and details that I will be sharing with you through this video. Dear students, let's get started. Dear students, here are a few images or pictures, we can say, of these flowers. You can see also the colorful butterflies. Okay, try to see these images and guess which of the poems in your English text we are going to read and discuss today. Dear students, after seeing these beautiful images, what adjectives flash or strike your minds? Have you ever been to or visited a flower or floral garden? If you have, then name 2 floral gardens that are visited most in spring in Kashmir. Dear students, what do you think? The poem can be about flowers or beauty. Yes, dear students, you are right. Today we are going to read and discuss a beautiful poem entitled Beauty. Beauty is written by Edward John Masefield. Who was Edward John Masefield? Edward John Masefield was a 20th century poet and writer. He was Poet Laureate of the United Kingdom from 1930 until his death in 1967. Dear students, let's read the poem. I have seen dawn and sunset on moors and windy hills, coming in solemn beauty like slow old tunes of Spain. I have seen the Lady April bringing the daffodils, bringing the springing grass and the soft warm April rain. I have heard the song of the blossoms and the chant of the sea, and seen strange lands from under arched white sails of ships. But the loveliest things of beauty God ever has showed to me are her voice and her hair and eyes and the dear red curve of her lips. Dear students, the poem Beauty consists of 8 lines. In the first 6 lines, the poet talks about various objects of nature that he has seen around or in the world, that he has seen around him or in the world. And then in the last 2 lines, he admits that though he has seen all these beautiful things and they have appealed him, but loveliest of them all are the loveliest of them all that God has shown to him are what? Her beloved's voice, her hair and eyes, and the red curve of her lips. Dear students, let's now try to interpret and explain this poem line by line. I have seen dawn and sunset on moors and windy hills. The poet says, the speaker of the poem, or we can say the poet here, the I indicates that it is the speaker of the poem, or it can be the poet himself, he can be the poet himself, okay? I have seen dawn and sunset on moors and windy hills. Here this dawn and this sunset, they are actually the words used for what? Used for beauty. Okay, so the poet says that he has watched what? The dawn. What's dawn? We can say the morning. And sunset. Here sunset means evening or the nightfall. Okay, he has seen the beauty of the morning and the beauty of the evening. On moods, moods can be considered as, or it means plains, meadows, and windy hills. And from the hills where wind passes, where breeze passes. Okay, so he has, we can just explain it like this, that the poet has watched the beauty of morning and the beauty of evening on plains and the windy hills and the hills. Okay, and this, now he goes on to say, coming in solemn beauty like slow old tunes of Spain. And he calls this dawn, he compares this dawn and sunset. The beauty of dawn, the coming of dawn and the coming of sunset, he compares this with what? This with the slow old tunes of Spain. That's why, and this morning and the sunset and the evening, they come, in solemn beauty, in serious beauty. Okay, like what? Like slow old tunes of Spain. Here the poet has used a poetic technique called simile. Here the poet has used a poetic technique called simile. What is simile? Simile is actually comparison between two different objects, where two different objects are compared. Okay, for example, I will give you here an example. Love is like a red rose. Love is like a red rose. Or let's forget about this. Let's take the example from the poem itself. Dawn, the morning, and the sunset, they have been compared with what? So old tunes of Spain. The tunes of Spain and dawn, they are two different things, or we can say two different entities, but they are coming, their appeal to the senses of the poet are alike. That is why, that is, or similar we can say. That is why dawn, coming of dawn, and the coming of sunset has been compared with the old tunes of Spain. Why old tunes of Spain? Now the question arises here, why the old tunes of Spain? Because old tunes of Spain are considered very pleasant to the ear. They are considered as euphonic. Okay, whosoever hears these tunes, old tunes of Spain, he gets he feels pleasant, he feels he enjoys these tunes. That's why the poet has compared dawn and sunset and their coming. The coming of dawn and sunset he has compared with what? He has compared with the slow old tunes of Spain. Let's move on. I have seen the Lady April bringing the daffodils, bringing the springing grass and the soft warm April rain. The poet goes on to say that he has seen the Lady April. Okay, the April has been considered as if April is female. She has been personified. Okay, or we can say here the poet has used a metaphor. The poet has compared April with a lady. Okay, why he has compared the April with a lady? Because females have what we call, they give birth to children. Okay, so here the concept of fertility, here the concept of the poet is actually referring to the concept of fertility, because in April what happens, in April many flowers bloom like daffodils. Okay, so that is why April has been compared with a lady, or we can say April has been personified. Okay, so giving birth to these daffodils and then bringing the springing grass, and it is in this month of April that grass grows, and when one walks on a grassy patch or on meadows, we can say, one feels comfort. Okay, so that's why springing, that jumps. Okay, but that makes you feel as if you are jumping, as if you are feeling comfort. Okay, we can say bringing the springing grass. Okay, and the soft warm April rain. Once again, soft showers of warm April rain. In April, the rain is not for example, one cannot if one feels if one enjoys, or if one receives a shower of rain, he doesn't feel cold. He doesn't feel, for example, that the rain is icy, that the rain is, frigid or cold. So that's why soft, warm April rain. So the showers of April rain, they are very pleasant. Okay, whosoever receives these April showers on his, on him, he feels pleased. He feels, it appeals to his senses. Okay, so the poet actually in the first four lines, he talks about so many beauty, so many for example, forms of beauty that he finds in the nature, rather the bounties of nature. Okay, so he expresses that he has enjoyed, or nature has bestowed him with all these beautiful things. And then he goes on to say, and what does he say now to us, how he explains these things to us. I have heard the song of the blossoms and the chant of the sea. I have heard. The poet says that he has heard the song of the blossoms. So, what is actually the song of the blossoms? It's actually the rustling music. Okay, it's actually the music that these blossoms produce. Okay, when the wind or when the breeze blows, this can be heard by only those persons who are romantic in nature. Okay, so here the poet is his attitude, his tone, the tone in the poem is romantic. That's why he says the song of the blossoms. And once again, we can say the blossoms, technique of personification has been used. These blossoms have been personified, because only humans can sing. Blossoms, these flowers cannot sing. Okay, so still he says that he has heard these blossoms, these flowers singing. Okay, and chant of the sea, once again he says chant here means song. Okay, song of the sea. And once again the sea has been compared, sea has been personified. Okay, so he has, what has the poet heard? He has heard the blossoms singing, and then the sea producing some sort of music that has appealed to his ears, that has and the music of the sea and these blossoms is euphonic. Okay, and seen strange lands from under arched white sails of ships. And the poet here says that he has visited so many places. He has for example, visited some places, crossing seas. Okay, and being under what, being arched. Okay, arched here means curved. Okay, white, it's self-explanatory. And sails of ships, sails of ships. So dear students, let me show you an image so that you can understand what these sails are. Can you see these cloths, this cloth pieces? Okay, these cloths that are here, these are actually the sails. Okay, you can see the image. This is called the sail. Okay, so the poet says he had seen strange lands. He had visited so many unknown or unfamiliar lands, or he had the lands that he had never been before. Okay, and under the arch, under the curved, curved white. See the color of these the sails is white. Okay, of ships, sails. Okay, of ships. Okay, you can see the ship as well. So sitting under these, he had seen the beauties of the sea. He had heard the music of the sea. Okay, he had seen the beauty of the sea. He had heard the music of the currents of the sea, waves of the sea. Okay, but then he makes a shift, dear students. Until 6 lines, he explains all the beauties that he has seen in nature. But then the poet makes a shift. Okay, and in English we call it volta. when a poet for example makes a shift from the earlier topic and then moves to the next, for example idea. Okay, so moving from one idea to the next idea, we call that shift, or in other words we call that volta, volta, volta. Okay, so what does now the poet say? But here the word of contrast. Okay, so the poet says, or the speaker of the poem say, the speaker of the poem says, the loveliest, but the loveliest, so he has used the superlative degree. Okay, the loveliest. Okay, lovely, lovelier, loveliest, you can see, okay, positive, comparative, superlative, so he has used the superlative degree. But the loveliest things of beauty God has ever shown to him. So what are the loveliest things that God has ever shown to the poet, shown to the the speaker of the poem? They are her voice, her hair, and her eyes, and the dear red curve of her lips. So the poet here refers to his beloved. So he's actually talking about the beauty of his beloved. He's talking about the beautiful voice of his beloved. He's talking about the beautiful, charming, lovely hair that his beloved has or possesses, and the almond eyes, beautiful eyes, lovely eyes, catching eyes, magnetic eyes that the poet's beloved has, and the red and the dear and the beautiful, and the dear and the popular. Dear here means popular, beautiful. Okay, lovely, red. Okay, crimson. Okay, curve, bend, we can say here, of her lips, of her lips. So here actually the poet is talking about the physical beauty, okay, of whom? Of his beloved. Okay, so though the poet here means to say, though he has seen so many beautiful things around him or in the world, but loveliest of them all are her beloved's voice, hair, eyes, and her lips. Okay, dear students, now let me ask you a question. What do you mean by beauty? There are so many poets, so many philosophers, so many writers who have defined beauty, or who have tried to define beauty. Okay, and everybody explains beauty in his own way, and everybody has his own perception about beauty. But as is a famous for example quote written by John Keats, he says that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Okay, and there is Oscar Wilde, another wonderful writer, here says that beauty is a wonder of wonders. But understanding these things seem a little bit difficult for you. Okay, but let me give you a beautiful definition of T. Hume, who says that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. It means whatever appeals to your eyes, whatever appeals to your ears. Sometimes beauty you cannot feel, or you cannot understand, or you cannot think, or you cannot appreciate anything, something with your eyes. You appreciate something by hearing through your ears as well, because we use all the five senses to appreciate things. Like if you hear some music, if you like it, you say, wow, what a beautiful song it was. Or if you see anything, for example, any flower, any movie, or any player playing a shot, you say, wow, what a beautiful shot it was, what a beautiful movie it was, or what a beautiful flower this garden has. Okay, so but there is some if your mother cooks some for example recipe at your home, so when you have that, when you eat that, when you taste that, you say, what a beautiful recipe your mother has cooked. So there are so many, you appreciate things using your five senses. Okay, so let me give you a definition that I have already rather given you, that is, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. And I am reminded here of Rumi, Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi Balki. He has written a Masnavi. In that Masnavi, in the second book of that Masnavi, he presents a character. He writes about a character. Okay, Khalifa. The name of that character is Khalifa. Khalifa says to Laila, tells her that, Laila, you are not that beautiful, or you are not so beautiful that I have heard. You are not that beautiful, or you are not so beautiful that I have heard. Okay, and Laila replies, you do not have Majnu's eyes. Laila replies by saying that you do not have, or he does not have what? He does not have Majnu's eyes. It means only Majnu can know, only Majnu can understand, only Majnu can realize the beauty of, or only Majnu can see the beauty of Laila. Let's now, dear students, talk about some more poetical devices. Okay, so here we can see, let's get back to the previous stanza. See, the poet has used what we can call alliteration. See, the what's alliteration? Rhythmic repetition of consonant sounds. See, som, s sound slow, s sound, and span. This is called alliteration, rhythmic repetition of consonant sounds. When initial sounds or letters are repeated in a particular poetic line, that's called alliteration. Okay, so another, we can say assonance as well. See, this letter, letter, or you can see this letter or this sound like this. You can see the assonance has also been used. Okay, what's assonance? It's actually a rhythmic repetition of vowel sounds, right? Let's move on. Once again here, s, and s. Okay, so rhythmic repetition of consonant sound has also been used. One more time, C. Okay, ships. The poet has used another technique that's called images. So you can see the sails of ships, image of the ships, image of the white sails of ships. You can see the image of the sea, etc., etc. Okay, or you can see these images as well, the hair, eyes. These are the images that the poet has used. Let's now talk about the rhyme scheme, dear students. You can see hills has the same sound as daffodils. Spain has the same end sound or last sound as rain. Okay, the word Spain. So hills, daffodils, we can say, we can give this the name A. Okay, and the next name A, we can call it A, and then Spain, B, rain, B. We can say A, B, A, B. The rhyme scheme of the first four lines is A, B, A, B. Let's move on. See, me, ships, lips. So the rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, C, C. Okay, A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D. So the rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D. Right? Let's move on. Here is an explanation. Okay, poetic devices. Simile, a comparison between two dissimilar objects using like, as, etc., etc. Okay, dawn and sunset, coming and so on, beauty. This is the simile. Okay, as I have already talked about. Metaphor, here apple has been compared with lady. Okay, so a comparison between two different things, but we do not use here like and as. In the first one we use like and as. Okay, alliteration, as I have explained. Assonance also, you can write down all these definitions. Okay, personification I have talked about. Songs of blossoms, chant of the sea. Tone is, what is the tone? It's actually the attitude you feel in the poem. Okay, attitude of the poet that readers feel in the poem. So here the tone is romantic. Okay, so because in any poem, a poem can have a comic tone, it can have satiric, it can have ironic, it can have elegiac, it can have romantic, and this poem has romantic tone because it talks about the romantic things like lips, like hair, like eyes. Okay, imagery. Actually, I have also talked about imagery. There are there's use of imagery there. Moods, windy hills, daffodils, arched white sails, etc. So imagery, what's imagery? It's visually descriptive or figurative language, especially in a literary work. For example, if you can imagine, or you can picture in your mind what the image of daffodils or the image of the ships and seas. Okay, what's antithesis? Yes, I have forgotten to talk about it. There is actually the what's antithesis? Antithesis means opposite ideas, or doubting opposite ideas. Here, natural beauty versus man-made beauty. Okay, though that is also natural beauty, because it's also almighty Allah, who is a God who has given beauty to a human being. Okay, so we can lightly say that here an antithesis, a device of antithesis has been used. So already talked about it. Rhyme scheme. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? So you can get the definition. It's a particular pattern that the poets use. Okay, and at the end of the last lines in a poetry: hills, Spain, daffodils, rain, sea, ships, me. So A B C D C D. Okay. Theme of the poem. Theme. The poem Beauty is a romantic poem. In this poem, the poet as well as the lover compares his beloved to various bounties of nature. However, he discovers her the most beautiful. The poet says that he has seen the magnificence of dawn and dusk, of fields and slopes, daffodils and the growing grasses. He has heard the song of the blossoms and the chants of the sea, or of the ocean, and he has seen surprising lands while remaining under the arched sails of ships. Though all that he has heard and seen has appealed to his senses, but the loveliest things that God has ever shown to him are his beloved's voice, her hair, her eyes, her hair, and the red curve of her lips. Thank you, dear students. We will meet in another video. Till then, Khuda Hafiz.